Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be ranking my new makeup purchases. I'm going to be telling you which things I tried and really liked and which things I didn't like as much. So let's get right into it. So I bought most of these things in December and I really tried them out. Tried them a couple of times and I'm back and I'm here to tell you what I actually think about them. I try to do this every month. I try to always come back and tell you what I think about things that I did a first impression on, what I think about things that I bought. So let's get right into it and let's start with the worst product. This last place is pretty disappointing. I didn't expect to not like this as much as I do. So on the last place I'm gonna put two Kiko lip products. These are from the Charming Escape collection. I bought these because I just want to try to wear some bolder lip colors. I want to buy some more bolder lip liners to be able to wear those bolder lip colors a little bit more easily, to apply them a little bit more easily. And I really loved the shiny lipstick from the Charming Escape collection. So I thought probably I also like the matte lipstick. So I bought the matte lipstick in shade 05 and I believe this is something like Pink Lily. It is such a pretty shade. It looks so beautiful. It is absolutely stunning when you look at it in the pan. And I bought the corresponding lip liner and I believe this is also called Pinkish Lily. This is also number 5. So these products I just don't like. I just couldn't get on board with this lip liner. It is a beautiful shade, but when you apply it, it is so creamy and pigmented that it is very hard to get a precise line. The line gets kind of blotchy. It's hard to work with. It's hard to make it look even and nice and just smooth. So this doesn't really help anything with lipstick application because this is just pretty messy because it is so creamy and just too pigmented. I don't know if it's the same for the other shades from this particular line, but this really didn't work on me. And then we have the lipstick. This lipstick, it goes on kind of creamy, but then it dries down kind of sticky and it does wear quite long, but then when it wears off, it's not a very flattering the way it wears off and it also isn't too comfortable. It is a bit of a strange lipstick formula and I know that Kiko can do long wearing lipsticks like this, bullet lipsticks that do feel comfortable throughout the day, that don't wear off in this weird way and that don't feel as sticky and drying. So I don't find this to be a comfortable lipstick. It is just a very strange. It is also like at the end of the day, it is still on your lips, but it doesn't look good anymore. It just looks very dry and patchy and it is not something that I prefer. I prefer it when lipsticks actually wear off a little bit but very gracefully and still look pretty in their own kind of toned down way, and that just doesn't happen with this one. This one isn't my favorite. Next up I put the Kiko long lasting eyeshadow stick 8 hours no transfer in number 28. I believe this is the ivory one. It's something ivory. I really thought I was gonna like this and I thought I was gonna use it as like an eye primer, but in the end it's just a little bit of a strange eyeshadow stick because it is somewhat matte, but then it also has some shimmers in there that are kind of sparse and my eyeshadow creases very quickly, and when I use this it doesn't make my eyeshadow stay on, but of course it's not really made for that. But even not looking at that I wanted to do that with this eyeshadow stick, I just think it doesn't look that good because of those sparse shimmers. I feel like they should have just made this matte or shimmery, but now it's kind of in between and it's a bit weird. I feel like I can still kind of use this on the lower lash line to make my eyeshadow pop a little bit more there, but this really didn't work out for what I bought it for. But I also don't feel like this is really gonna work for a pretty eyeshadow stick because it's just a little bit of a weird consistency. I have tried other eyeshadow sticks that were like completely shimmery that I liked more more. This is just a little bit of a weird one. Wouldn't recommend this. I thought that maybe this would be a little bit similar to the Sigma one. I haven't tried the Sigma one, but now I'm like, that one is probably better than this one. I don't think they are completely the same. So this doesn't really have a place in my collection. I can kind of use it, but not the way that I intended to, and I wouldn't really recommend it. I don't think this is great. And then we have this lip duo from the Catrice X Jenny collection. I don't think this is very bad. Wait, I want to switch some things around. I'm gonna put this in the next spot. Before this, I'm gonna put this. So this is the Kiko Neutral Eye Base. After I tried that eyeshadow stick, I was like, you know what? I will try the actual eye base and see how I feel. I'm just on the hunt. I'm just on a mission to find an eye base that works for me. So far, I've only found one that is only available in the Netherlands. So I was like, okay, let's see what Kiko has to offer. This is pretty okay. It is better than most of the other eye bases that I've tried, except the one that actually works for me. It does make my eyeshadow crease in the end, which I don't like, but it isn't as bad. It doesn't look as bad. It isn't as creasy. It isn't as greasy. The eyeshadow doesn't move around completely, but there is a little bit of creasing after a day of wearing my eyeshadow. I can kind of counteract that with a little bit of powder. I feel like maybe this could get better after I've used it a little bit longer, after it's dried out a little bit. Sometimes it happens with eye primers that once they have dried out a little bit, that they work better for my oily eyelids. So it's a pretty okay primer. I quite like it, but for me to rank a primer higher, it has to really work and really make those eyeshadows stay on, really make sure that it doesn't crease, and I can't really trust this one just yet. I'm probably gonna keep trying it out a little bit. I've worn this quite a lot though. I just don't want to write it off completely just yet because I just really want it to work. It is in the second spot of all my eye primers. I don't think this is gonna cover veins or things like that amazingly, or if you have really red eyelids, but it's not something that I can really speak on because I don't really have very veiny or colored eyelids, and also I don't really have the luxury to pay attention to that because all I ever want is for my eyeshadow to not crease. That is like already so hard to find that I don't really pay attention to any of the other characteristics, any of the other things that an eyeshadow primer can do for you. So if you are listening to my eyeshadow primer recommendations, it is only about the creasing part. It's only about the oily eyelids part. For other recommendations, this is not the place to be. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the Catrice X Jenny lip duo. The lip liner in this I quite like. It's not the most pigmented one, but it's easy to work with. It is creamy. It is a pretty shade. I quite like it. It is a good one. The lipstick, however, I feel like it is a little bit cheap feeling. I don't really like the packaging. The scent of this, it just smells kind of unpleasant, like basic old lady makeup lipstick scent. The shade of this is kind of pretty, but I don't feel like it's that easy for me to wear. It's like this mid-tone brown, but when I apply it, it pulls a little purple. That is something that always happens with me with these tones, with my skin tone and undertone. So if you have other undertones, and this is probably not gonna pull as purple, but for me it's just a little bit of a difficult shade to wear. I quite like the formula. It is kind of semi-opaque. It's not completely opaque. It's kind of shiny. It doesn't wear that long. I just think that this combo is okay, especially for me. I think if these were my perfect colors, if this was my perfect color, it would have been higher. If you like something like a Velvet Teddy, for example, from MAC, then this is the combo for you. That lipstick doesn't look good at me at all, and it's kind of like a similar tone to this one. So yeah, I don't think this is terrible. I don't hate it. It is just not something that gets me excited. You have to buy these in a set, so that's also why I'm ranking these together. But this lipstick just doesn't really do it for me. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. It's just not my fave. The lip liner is pretty okay. Nothing to complain about there. Then next up, I put this mini eyeshadow palette by Catrice. This is the Dazzling Pink collection from the Advent Beauty gift shop collection. This collection is still in store. I've seen it in store, so if you have Catrice in a store near you, you can check that out. I'm in the Netherlands, so if you are in the Netherlands, I still saw it in the drugstore. This is a pretty cute palette. I don't really have any complaints about it. I quite like it. It's just kind of softly pigmented. The shimmers are kind of soft. This shimmer is very nice. I quite like it. And you can kind of build a look around that. I wouldn't say that this palette is very pink. I would rather say it's kind of like peachy bronze. It is a cute look. I quite like it. I did a few different looks with it. It is a nice palette. Is it gonna be my favorite? Is it something that I would have missed in my collection? No, it's just okay to nice. I think it would be nice if you want to travel with your eyeshadow, because it's a very slim, sleek, small palette with 6 shades in there. It is good. It is okay. It is nice, but I'm not blown away by it. Next up, I put this Kiko Creamy Color Comfort Lip Liner. I actually really like this formula, but this shade, I just bought the wrong shade. I believe that on the website it said that this was called something like dark red, but it is a very bright orangey red, and that is not the type of shade that I like to wear. But it is a very nice formula. It is creamy but not too creamy. It is very easy to apply. I think it's very nice. I think I would pick up more shades from this line because it is a very good formula, and they have multiple shades. They have quite a few shades of this one. So I actually really like it. It's quite affordable. I don't really have any complaints about it, except that it's just not my shade. I bought the wrong shade. It is my fault. So I think that I can really make up my mind about this if I buy the right shade, like the exact right shade that I would wear, that I would like. So I'm keeping my eye out for this formula. I don't know, I guess this is like 5 or 6 euros, something like that. This basic line by Kiko is always pretty affordable. Yeah, you know, I quite like it. It is good. I just bought this online, and maybe I should have swatched it in store, because this isn't what I expected. Next up, I put these LA Girl Nourishing Lip Oils. These are Sheer Strawberry and Shimmer Grapefruit. I actually bought these in January. I bought them quite recently, but I've already used them quite a lot, so I can already tell you something about them. I think these are very pretty, very cute lip glosses. They don't really have a lot of color to them, but they have quite a nice fruit scent to them. I personally like the Shimmer Grapefruit the most because it has a very nice grapefruit scent. The strawberry one is kind of a little bit too sweet for me. It is a bit too much for me. It is a little bit artificial. These are just very nice if you want a little bit of extra hydration and shine, but you don't really want color. You can use this when you're not wearing any makeup. It is just comfortable on the lips, and it looks pretty, and I like the added touch of the fruit scent. So these are nice products, but they are not changing my life or anything like that. Then we have the first product from Martini Cosmetics. In December I tried Martini Cosmetics, I believe, or was it November? I think it was December. And I tried one of their liquid lipsticks. This one is the one in Pierrette. This is a little bit of a different shade on my lips than I expected. It has a little bit of that grayish undertone, which I'm not that into anymore. This is quite a nice liquid lipstick. I quite like it. It is quite good. It is just that it is a little bit sticky when you just apply it, but then when you put a little bit of something on top, like a little bit of gloss, a little bit of balm, or even you eat something, then that top layer, that top sticky layer kind of wears off, and then it's very comfortable and pretty, and then I really like it. So it is not perfect, but it is a very nice lip formula. It is a very nice liquid lip. It's like 90% there, because I do really like how it looks on the lips. It looks very pretty. It is not drying. It is just that slight bit of stickiness that makes it not perfectly comfortable, that I'm a little bit sad about. I just wish it would feel nice on the lips right away and that you don't have to manipulate it. but I do think that this is a very, very good lip formula to apply a gloss on top. I tried it and I really, really liked it. I don't really like applying the gloss all over the lips, but then when you do that technique, when you apply just a little bit over here and a little bit on the cupid's bow, just a little bit on the points where the sun hits your, or where the light hits your lips, then I really like wearing a gloss on a product like this. I think this is good for that. Actually, I'm kind of eyeing the other colors that they have in this lip product because it does fulfill a certain role in my collection. It does have a certain place in my collection, and they do have pretty colors. And you know, I do enjoy this product. It is a good product, but I just can't rank it that high today in this ranking because it isn't perfect. Next up, this is a palette that I already ranked in my yearly eyeshadow palette ranking of 2021, but I just knew about this palette before I knew about a lot of these products, what I actually thought about it. So sometimes I have products that I've already known what I feel about it. I have them sitting in a basket waiting to be ranked, but then I kind of have to wait and see what I think about other products so that I have enough for this video. So that's why you sometimes see a product already in another video, but it takes some time for me to actually rank it in this new makeup ranking. So this palette is the Catrice X Jenny palette. I quite like this palette. It's a good quality palette. I think they did a great job. I really like the packaging. I think it's quite nice and sleek and interesting. The shimmers in here are very pretty. The mattes are a little bit on the soft side, but you can work with them. All in all, you can get a pretty look. And this offshore shade is a very sparkly. It is like the sparkly shade that has kind of like a nude base and then very nice light green shimmers that can really amp up the look and really make it look more special. That shade really takes this palette to a whole other level and really makes it something interesting and something special. I said before that I really appreciate this palette because this shows that drugstore brands like Catrice can actually do a very pretty sparkly textured shades, and I hope that we will be seeing this even more. I hope they will be going into that direction even more, because then we have those sparkly shades a little bit more easily accessible and for a better price. So it is not just Pat McGrath or indie singles that can give you this effect. I'm really happy that this is kind of like on the mainstream market and that people who don't spend a lot of makeup can also buy a very nice and textured shade. So I was really impressed with this, especially because it is Catrice. But if I compare it with other eyeshadow palettes, it's not like the most special, most interesting, amazing eyeshadow palette that has ever existed, but I really like it because it is Catrice and they did something that I hadn't expected from them. So yeah, in a way it could be higher because it is affordable, because it kind of surprised me. But for this ranking, I feel good putting it kind of in the middle. I would highly recommend it though, especially if you don't have any textured shades in your collection already, or you don't have that many just yet. Next up, I put the Nabla Secret palette, and this is a palette that I expected to love, and I kind of do, but also it is a bit low for a Nabla palette, in my opinion. For a big Nabla palette, I bought this one because I really love the bigger Nabla palettes that I have in my collection, and this is a color story that I wasn't too into when this was first released, but now with my makeup style now, I am really into these colors. I really love this half neutral, half colorful palette. I was just like, you know what? I don't know why I haven't tried this. Let me grab it and see how I feel about this, because this could be a new favorite. And in a way, I feel like it is and it could be, but some of these shades, some of these shimmers are just a little bit satiny for me, just a little bit too subtle. And there are quite a lot of satin shimmers in here that just don't really work on its own for me. I really have to combine them with one of the more textured shades to get the look that I want. But then on the other hand, the mattes in here are amazing. I really like the other shimmers, the non-satin shimmers in here. So I'm kind of like on the fence about this palette a little bit because there are certain shades by Nabla that I really like, but just some of these are a little bit too subtle. Like this Romeo shade, Big Experience, Aesthetic. I just feel like those are a little bit too subtle for me. I just need something a little bit more. But looking at this palette as a whole, I really like it. I still like the color story. I've done a few really pretty looks and I've really liked the looks, and the fact that you have those textured shades to kind of amp up the look when you use a satin, and you use that satin kind of as a base and then use that texture shade on top, it does really work. But I had to be honest with myself and with you. At this point, this is my least favorite Nabla bigger eyeshadow palette. Even though I really like it, I just wish there were less satin shades in this palette. And I just wish they were, or I just wish they were a little bit more creamy. Because for example, I have the Dreamy palette by Nabla, and those shades could also kind of be described as satins, but they are quite creamy and pigmented, and they are a little bit more thick, so that when you apply it, you do get the impact. I do get the impact that I want, and this doesn't give me exactly what I want. I still am happy that I have it. I still like it, but I have tried other eyeshadow palettes for this month that I think are more special, more interesting, and just a lot better. So those are my thoughts for now. I feel like they maybe could change a bit in the future, because I am a fan of this kind of color story. I am a fan of Nabla, but so far I was just a little bit disappointed, just a little bit, while applying the eyeshadow with every look. So apparently I ranked this liquid blush here. I don't know exactly how I feel about this, but in a way I kind of agree. I feel like maybe on another day this could be a little bit lower, or maybe a little bit higher, probably a little bit lower. But to be honest, this Catrice X Jenny liquid blush really surprised me in a positive way. I really like it. Once I used it once in a video and it looked a little bit blotchy. It was a little bit hard to blend, but I've been struggling with a little bit of texture on this side of my face that makes it sometimes that some products don't apply that well on top. Even products that I've already used so many times and really liked suddenly look a little bit blotchy there. So I can't really blame this liquid blush, especially when it looks very good on the other side. But this is a very pretty color. It is like a peachy pink, kind of toned down. It's really easy to blend. You can use quite a bit without it being too overpowering right away. This is not the type of liquid blush where you just need the tiniest pinch, the tiniest drop of the blush on your face and then it's already too much. It is easy to use, easy to blend out. It's just a very pretty color that I didn't have yet in my collection. I've really enjoyed using this. I actually really like it. I guess this means that this is my favorite product from the Catrice X Jenny collection. I guess if I just look at this in isolation, don't look at it, what it means, at the price, if I don't really look at that the textured shade is really something else for Catrice, and they kind of surprised me with that, I do think that I like this product the most. It's like I can't really say anything negative about it, and with the other products from this collection I kind of can tell you something that I don't like as much. I think if the mattes in the palette would have been a little bit more pigmented and creamy, then maybe the palette could have ranked higher than this blush. I'm just a little bit unsure now, but I think I'm gonna accept this ranking. I'm gonna accept my first, I'm just gonna go with my first hunch and leave this here. I actually really like it. And yeah, I guess I like it more than the eyeshadow palette. And next up I put the Martini Cosmetics lip pencil in Simone. I think this is a very pretty kind of darker red, not super dark but kind of dark. It is just a very nice classic red shade, so I really like the shade of this one. The formula is also very nice, creamy but not too creamy, easy to apply. I think it's a very nice lip pencil formula, and I think I would buy more of these. I think, yeah, I would recommend it. I think think it is good. Is it my favorite lip pencil formula that I've tried this time? I think it's kind of similar to the Kiko one, but I like this shade more. They are both kind of like these pencil lip liners that are easy to apply, not too creamy and not too drying. So I think those formulas are kind of comparable, but this is a shade that I actually was looking for, that I actually wanted. Then next up I put the Martini Cosmetics liquid. Did I say Martini Cosmetics or did I just think I did? This is the Martini Cosmetics liquid lip balm in Arlette. It is a very pretty kind of brighter pink shade. When I apply it, it looks kind of bright pink. It is very comfortable, it's shiny, it is kind of long wearing but not too crazy long wearing. It is just a very nice shiny pigmented lip product that is very easy to wear when you have dry lips. It is so comfortable and nice, and I don't know, it smells not too great. It smells a little bit like chemicals that are in your lipstick, but I really like it. And they actually have new shades of this. I think this could have been a little bit higher if this weren't so bright pink when I applied it. I don't wear such bright rosy pinks that much. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's a great formula. I really loved wearing it. I think it's really pretty, and I am kind of thinking about buying other shades. I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now, but maybe sometime in the future I will buy other shades from this formula because I really enjoyed it. Next up I put the LA Girl Pro Setting Spray, the HD High Definition Setting Spray Long Lasting Matte Finish. I'm really enjoying this. This doesn't irritate my skin, which is very important to me, but it also makes my makeup last. It has quite a nice spray. It is not like that really fine mist that you don't feel on your face. You do feel it, but there are not like big drops, and when it dries down it all just looks very nice and kind of natural. It's not mattifying to me, it's just a natural finish. It's not extremely glowing, not extremely matte. I just really like it. It does its job and it doesn't irritate my skin once again, which I'm always kind of scared of when it comes to setting sprays because they always have alcohol, perfume, things like that, and this one, it just works for me. Next up I put these two NYX brow products that I've been using basically all month. I bought these at the start of the month because I was like, I need to up my brow game. I need to buy some brow products that are actually good. When I started out with kind of fixing my brows with trying to make them look a little bit more full and make them look a little bit more shaped and structured, I just bought a random brow pencil by Catrice and it kind of worked for a little bit there, but then I was like, you know what, I need something else, I need something better. So I have the NYX Professional Micro Brow Pencil in Ash Brown, and I also have this one is called the Lift and Snatch, also in Ash Brown. I really like these. This one, the brow pencil, I use the most. It's really easy to draw in brow hairs. It's not too pigmented, but it has enough pigment. It's precise enough. It's easily blendable. I really like the shade of this one. This Lift and Snatch pen is really impressive because it just has the right amount of pigment. It doesn't dry out. It's not like when you first start applying it that it is like too pigmented. These are very easy to work with, but I'm still kind of figuring them out. I'm still kind of figuring out how to do my brows, how to draw my brows on. It's not something I ever really got into. It's something I ever really did. So that's also why these are not higher, because I'm not someone that gets too excited about brow products or about my brows just yet. And I feel like I just have to really get the hang of these to really get super excited. But at least these are a lot better than anything else I've tried. I really like them so far. So they definitely deserve 6th place, but I'm just not enough of a brow person to put these above these other products. While maybe they could be better, but I can't really say that right now while I'm still kind of figuring out my brows. Next up, in 5th place, I put this Catrice little highlighter. I'm so impressed by this. This is the From Beauty Gift Shop Mini Powder Highlighter in Pink Crystal Glow. This is such a beautiful shade. But also this formula is a very sophisticated, very pretty, very shiny while being shimmery. It is a shimmery highlighter, but in such a way that it kind of looks wet on the skin. It's like the particles are so small that you don't really see it, but it does look so glowy. I really like this tone. I really like how this looks on the face. And it is only like €3. Just like the eyeshadow palette, this is still available in the Netherlands in the stores. I don't know where else you can find this still, but it's definitely worth it because it is just so pretty. I love the shade. It's kind of like this champagne-y pink. It is not too light for me, not too light and icy. There's one shade that's a little bit more icy with a bit of a lilac-y undertone almost. This is the shade. This is definitely the shade that I prefer. I saw the other one in store, but this is, in my opinion, much prettier. I just think this is an amazing formula, and this is a shimmery highlighter for people that maybe don't love the idea of a shimmery highlighter because it's not chunky at all. It's very sophisticated. It's like this kind of veil of shimmer that looks so good on the skin. So I really like it, and I'm very impressed with it, especially for this price. And it's also so small and compact and pretty and cute. Next up, in 4th place, I'm putting the Martini Cosmetics. What was this collection called? Martine and Orbit. I made a video about this. I think these are very beautiful palettes. You have 3 palettes in a set. This one is the Mars one. It's very warm and red orange. Then we have the cool toned one, which is the Mercury one. I'm not gonna try and pronounce these French names. It's just not gonna work. And then we have the Saturn one, which is very colorful. The main reason why I'm ranking these so high is because these mattes are so beautiful, so pigmented, so blendable, so buildable. These are like my favorite mattes in my collection. There are no other mattes that have impressed me as much as these mattes. When it comes to the shimmers, some of these are a little bit more on the satiny side, especially in this Saturn one. This shade, I believe, is a little bit satiny, but then some are also more textured and shiny. You can kind of combine that. I would have loved it if all the shades were really shiny and there weren't any satins. That would have made this absolutely perfect, but now it's like 97% perfect because I really love all the looks that I did with these. I really enjoyed these palettes. I think they really pack a punch because of those mattes, but then the shimmers are also very pretty. They do give this very interesting effect to the eyelids. It's a very special formula. I can't really compare it to anything, but I've really enjoyed these. I think they are very pretty, and you can only buy them in the set, but I do get it because all these shades do combine very good together. By the way, Martini Cosmetics is now available on Beauty Bay, and I actually saw that they have this set of 3 eyeshadow palettes available there now. So that is something to keep an eye on. Maybe they will also go on sale at Beauty Bay. I don't know if that will happen soon, but it's another place to check if you are interested in Martini Cosmetics. I at least really enjoyed these palettes. I just think these are amazing. The thing with the satin shades, it's just something very personal, and it's just a little tiny thing for me because I think the looks that I did with this were just so special. It is just very different from other eyeshadow palettes, and it's like even if you have those shades in other eyeshadow palettes, you don't get that same look. There's something special about these that really made me fall in love with them, so that's why they are this high up. Next up, I put the Pat McGrath Highlighter Divine Rose, and what is the exact name of this one? The Ultra Glow Highlighter, and this one really impressed me. This is a very interesting formula. I don't know if this is a baked gelée formula. It kind of seems like it because it's not powdery. I feel like I'm kind of blinding you with this packaging because it's not powdery at all. It is very smooth and it really blends into the skin very well. It looks very natural but still glowy. It kind of makes me think of the Nabla skin glazing line. It is, I think, the formula that comes closest to that, and it is like my favorite formula ever. The shade In Privilege is like my favorite highlighter ever. I'm also wearing that one today. I just think this is a very, very beautiful highlighter. It is just very creamy, very shiny. It is like this kind of champagne and gold base, but then there's also pink in it. No, it's more of a pink base with then a champagne and gold shift, but it is not too deep. I can definitely make it work. I can definitely use it as a highlighter. Maybe apply it a little bit to the back when I apply it, but it's just so pretty, so shiny, so glowy, and just very smooth and wet looking on the skin. I really like that highlighter a lot, and I'm glad that I picked that one up. Then in the number 2 spot, I am putting the Alien Cosmetics, or Unearthly Cosmetics, that's what they are called now, liquid matte lipstick. So I got the one in shade Autumn, and this is just a very pretty kind of peachy pink nude shade. This looks so smoothing on the lips. It kind of makes your lips look plump, and it's also not drying at all. It just looks very flattering. It feels very good. This is an amazing lip formula. I've really enjoyed wearing this one. So much so that I actually bought the whole line of these liquid matte lipsticks. Okay, that sounds pretty crazy. Sounds very drastic, but there was this sale where all the liquid matte lipsticks were $5, and I picked them all up so I could do a lip swatch video. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna do that on YouTube or if I'm gonna do that on Instagram only. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with that, but this formula is just amazing. So amazing that I was like, I want to try all the shades, and I just want to know what this whole line is about. I just am really impressed with this. I think this looks so good. Every time that I wear it, I just feel like my lips look so good, and I never really feel like that with a matte liquid lip. So really impressed. I think this is on its way to become my favorite matte liquid lip. So on the first place, I'm actually putting the Fall Magic Eyeshadow Palette by Unearthly Cosmetics. This is a palette with a color story that is just so up my alley, especially for the fall, and we're a little bit past that, but I love how this gives me the fall vibes. This really gives me all the fall vibes. And then the formulas in here are just amazing. I love the shimmers. They are so reflective, so shiny, so textured. I really love the mattes as well. They are very creamy, kind of powdery, but because of that, very pigmented. The only shade that I didn't love in this palette is the shade Bonfire, which I felt was a bit dry, and I really had to build it up. I really had to manipulate it to get what I wanted, and I didn't feel like it looked as deep as it does in a pan on my eye. So bit disappointed with that shade, but for the rest, I really loved all the looks that I did with this. I think it's a great formula. The shimmers are just amazing, and that is the main reason why this one is so high up in this ranking, because I just love shimmers, and these shimmers really knock my socks off. I also really love this packaging. It is just a great palette. It is just amazing. I really loved it. I really loved using it. It is a palette that really makes me excited to try more of the brand, that really makes me want to get into this brand. But I just have to see what other color stories they come out with. I'm not just gonna buy anything from the brand because they do some color stories that are not entirely up my alley, but they are releasing a new kind of purpley pinky, maybe Valentine's Day eyeshadow palette. So I'm kind of eyeing that. If they do something in a color story that is for me that I would like, then I definitely want to try more from them, because this eyeshadow palette really impressed me. I thought that every look that I did was just so pretty. Okay, so I have been talking for way too long. This is gonna be everything for my new makeup ranking. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.